have here a new base set for the Pathfinder Adventure Card Game. This is the Skull and Shackles base set, kind of based off their Skull and Shackles Adventure Path that they put out a good while back. It's kind of a pirate-themed adventure. Has to do more with the adventures on the boats and gaining ships and power and kind of becoming your own pirate. So I'm sure the adventure is going to be themed in this game. Going to be have much the theme and storyline of the adventure path. So we get a rule book. It's a little bent up. Looks like it kind of got shook around a little. So it kind of shows you how the cards get laid out in here. You have the adventure decks, one of which, the first one you get, the Wormwood Mutiny, comes in the base game. Looks like you're going to get a set of character cards here in a package. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4 packages of cards there. You get a little bundle of dice. And you get some samples of some Ultra Pro deck protectors. So you go through. They do make a very nice mat for this also. They have a nice mouse pad style mat that you could use for the board to set the cards up on. And they also have little player mats that are very nice. I have some for the Rise of the Rune Lords adventure path through the card game, but they've also made them for the Skull and Shackles. So you're going to go through here. It's going to give you the basics of the rules, how to roll the dice, what skill tests are, how to use the different decks. Just how the locations work in the game. You get some stuff on ships, which ships weren't in the first game. How to do scenarios, how to adjust your character in between the games. Looks like we got a description of all the different cards here. Looks like you get an example of play, kind of in a story format. You have suggested deck lists. So it looks like you have the characters you start out with, some of which are the same from the other game. And then you have the character add-on deck. They have released quite a few more decks than the last adventure path. Not only do you have the 6 adventure decks that come out spaced over time, but they have the character add-on deck, which adds 4 more characters, and then they have a bunch of different decks that help adjust all the different character classes. And you get a nice piece of art on the back here. So I'll open up, sort the cards, and come back and go through them by their categories. So I have the cards sorted out into their different categories, and we'll kind of go through them real quick. We'll start out with the cards that kind of run the mechanics of the adventure. We have here the adventure path, and this is the whole Skull and Shackles adventure path. So it shows you the adventure decks that you have to have, and you get the Wormwood Mutiny there in this. And it tells you what you get after you complete the adventure path. If you want to go on to maybe create your own adventure, it gives you a little bit of story. And then you have the adventure that comes with the base game, kind of a primer before you get into the actual meat of it. And this is the Plunder and Peril. And it gives you the scenarios that you have to complete, and then it gives you the reward that you get when you complete that, and a little bit of story to it. And then the scenarios that are part of the Plunder and Peril. You have island hopping, and it shows you how you build the what henchman and villain you're using, what rewards you get, and then gives you the number of players you have and the location you use with that number of players. So both of those cards, and it gives you a little bit of story on the back too. So you have island hopping, rum punch, dangerous waters, sunken treasure, the black flag, and it's a location there. And then you have all the different locations that are going to make up the places where you have encounters in each of those scenarios. You have and it tells you what cards are going to go, or what type of cards and how many are going to go at each of these locations. It tells you any special abilities, how to shut down the location, and anything that happens when you shut down that location. And gives you a little bit of story too. So you have an ale house, a beach, a cannibal isle, coastline, docks, fest hall, floating shipyard, a fog bank, fringes of the eye, a harbor, a holy isle, house of stolen kisses, lonely island, mangrove swamp, merchant marina, pinnacle atoll, raker shoals, a rocky cliff, safe house, scar bay, sea caves, sea fort, seaside warehouse, shark island, shipwreck graveyard, tempest cay, tower, and a wishing well. So a lot of locations to start out with in this base game. You have some ships here, and the ships give you something for when you encounter it, something for if you take it over as part of your fleet. You get a little bit of story, and you have the some stuff on commanding the ship on the back side too. So you have the Dominator, the Merchantman, the Sea Shanty, Shackles pirate ship, True Wind, and the Wormwood. You have your villains. There should be one of these for each of the scenarios that was there. So you have a Doro Barbarian, kind of a merfolk. Gemma Redclaw. So she's got a steampunk claw there. Kelazar the Brine Dragon. Nefti Unwesha. And the Pirate Council. And then you have a bunch of henchmen here. Some of them are probably repeats because they're, for some of the villains, they have the same henchmen in each of the locations. So you're going to get quite a few. So Buccaneer, you get 6 Buccaneers. You get 6 enemy ships. Looks like you get 5 Hammerhead Sharks. You get 1 Hergenzoska. It's like a dragon turtle. You have a Pirate Shade Haunt. You get 7 of those. You have Ruffians. You get 5. Shipwreck. You get 6 of those. So a lot of those are just repeats because depending on how many locations you have, the villain will be in one, and then he'll have, like, if his Buccaneers as henchmen, they'll be in all the other locations that he's not in. So that's why you get multiples of them. Then you have the monsters here. You have a Bilge Spider Swarm, a Blood Moon Pirate, kind of a werewolf, a Bunyip, Cacalia, Constrictor Snake, you get a couple of those. Crab Swarm, you get a couple. Crocodile, Dire Rat, Ghost, Marine, you get a couple. Mercenary, you get a couple. Merfolk, you get a couple. 2 pirate captains. 2 rat swarms. A sea drake. A couple of sea hags. Shackles pirate. Siren caller. Skeletons. Smugglers. Swamp ghouls and zombies. And these are the last of the things that make up the things you have to overcome in the deck, I believe. You have, and these are kind of barriers or obstacles. So you have ambushes, barroom brawls, bucket brigade, illusionary walls, large chests, lookout duty, man overboard, pirate hunting, trapped locker, treasure hunt, and treasure maps. And then you start to get into the things that make up the player decks. They can also be in the obstacle decks as, or the location decks as things you can gain to help yourself. But they mainly make up your deck for your character. So your characters you're going to have Valeros, the human fighter, and you get 3 cards for each of your characters. You get the card that basically has a story, and you use it to represent as a token which location he's at. You have his stat card, which shows what dice he uses and any bonuses you've gained while playing the game. And then you have on the back what kind of cards make up his base deck and any adjustments you've made to that due to experience. And then you have his powers that he gets and any adjustments you made to those during the things. So you can either make him a Corsair or a Tactician. He starts out as a fighter though. So that's Valeros, and he was in the previous one. It looks like the specializations he can go in are different. Then you have Celtial, the half-elf Magus. Looks like he can either be a Marauder or a Spellblade. You have Marisol. She was in the other adventure path also. It's a female elf rogue. She can be a shadow or a smuggler. We have Lyrianne, a female half-elf gunslinger. Kind of a musketeer, or she can be a musketeer or a deadeye. You have Lim, the halfling bard. I believe he was one of the expanded characters in the other adventure path. He can be a sea singer or a freebooter. You have Jarell, a female half-elf swashbuckler. She can be a pirate queen or a duelist. And the last character you're going to get in here is Al-Ahazra, a female human oracle. And she can be a stargazer or a tempest. Looks like you get one other kind of maintenance card. This is your fleet card. It shows what ships you start out with. Looks like you start out with the merchantman, and you can gain the rest of these as you go. You see they have different classes. It looks like how good they are. And then you have a plunder table, which I believe comes in effect as some sort of game mechanic. And you roll a dice and you get some sort of reward out of that. I'll try to flip through the rest of these pretty quick. You have the weapons that can be part of your starting deck, or that you can get as rewards through locations or other things. You have a belaying pin, kind of a club, a blunderbuss, boarding axe, boarding pike, cat o' nine tails, cutlass, +1 cutlass, dagger, a dragon pistol, a falcata, fire lance, harpoon, heavy crossbow, icy boarding pike +1, light crossbow, longbow, longsword, mace, a main gauche, morning star, musket, pistol, +1 pistol, quarterstaff, rapier, a sap, short sword, short bow, throwing axe, whip, whip. You have the spells that are going to be available. You have Aid, Arcane Armor, Black Spot, Buoyancy, Call Weapon, Confusion, Cure, Detect Magic, Fear, Find Traps, Fire Blade, Force Missile, Frostbite, Inflict, Instant Armor, Magic Weapon, Phantasmal Minion, Speed, and Strength. The next set of cards here are the armor cards. You have a buckler, a buckler gun, chainmail, chain shirt, cloth armor, leather armor, a magic buckler, a magic chain shirt, magic leather armor, and a wooden shield. You have a bunch of various items here: Amulet of Fortitude, Amulet of Life, Anchor, Bracers of Protection, Caltrops, Conch Shell, Emerald of Dexterity, Eye Patch, Masterwork Tools, Nautical Charts, Old Salt's Bandana, Onyx of Constitution, Pearl of Wisdom, Potion of Fortitude, Potion of Glibness, Potion of Healing, Powder Horn, Ruby of Charisma, Rum Bottle, Sapphire of Intelligence, Spyglass, Thieves' Tools, Token of Remembrance, Topaz of Strength, and Tot Flask. You have your allies. You can get an Acolyte, Barefoot Sam's Toppin, Besmaran Priest, a Bosun, a Cabin Boy, a Captain, Carver, a Shanty Singer, a Deckhand, Dolphin, Giffer Tibbs, Heartbreak Henson, Jinx Eater, a Lookout, Master Gunner, Master in Arms, Old Salt, a Parrot, Quartermaster, Sailor, Surgeon, Swab. And the last bit of cards you're going to get before you get into the Wormwood Mutiny Adventure deck are going to be your blessings. These work as a timer to the game as well as make up cards as to be part of your character's deck. So you have a Blessing of Adabar, a Blessing of Achaic, a Blessing of Caden Kalen, a Blessing of Aristil, Blessing of Gorham, Blessing of Gozra, Blessing of Milani, Blessings of Pharasma, Savannah, and Blessing of the Gods. You're going to get a bunch of those. Those are just the generic ones. So I will go through the adventure deck for the Wormwood Mutiny, but I will do that in a secondary video because this one's already pretty long.